people? It is Wednesday, the 3rd of July. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favorite news platform and home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And of course, we are hosted by the best in the business. Please, everyone.
They call me E-Man, the pro-black actor, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
Morning. Did you manage to watch Terrence?
Not yet.
No. I saw a little clip going around this morning that made me think, I should have pressed play on the way in the car or something like that. But maybe when I get home, I'm going to do it because
What was the clip?
of my man talking about the shit in the super cemetery something, and he's like, listen, you need to stop saying that because that's not a super cemetery kind of thing. Like, you're not using the thing the right way. But he's like, rah, so what do you mean? Like, of course it's like he's just going back and forth, innit? It's like he's having teaching moments in front of him.
Yep.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, is that how my man's moving the whole episode? Does that mean he's actually doing my man a solid then? Because he's being really patient with him.
100% he did him a solid. And what you will find out is that he validated everything that Terrence was basically about. Do you understand? He gave it credence. Because that back and forth with that brilliant man who is accepted as brilliant amongst the masses, he was wowed by him. And several times when Joe even asked, so what is it that he's done that's wrong? Like, I'm talking about the actual concept of what he was saying. He did answer. Do you understand? He never had that straight, well, this is wrong here, as in the concept of it. Not the wording, because semantics is semantics, right? And if it is, you can argue about language, it's cool. But the actual crux of the science, Joe's pleading for him, Peggy, tell me, what's wrong? He didn't tell him. Because
he couldn't.
Didn't have an answer for that, man. Didn't. But again, I have been accused of gassing this up by the people who have not watched it. So I'm waiting patiently for you to put your eyes on it because you don't need to understand everything because I didn't understand everything that was happening. But I can suss what I saw and you'd be able to suss what you saw.
Yeah, no, just from the, like, you get me, just from the synopsis, I'm taking it in. I can see what's happened here. I think Joel's probably done that on purpose as well because he probably believed that there was something here. You know what I'm trying to say? So the stuff that it's like, the stuff that you're saying and you're using the wrong language and like that, you're just making a rod for these people to beat you with. You know what I'm trying to say? And then to just muddy all the waters and to just discredit you and treat you like you're a psychopath. And basically look at you with the disdain that E-Man looks at him with.
120%.
So someone like E-Man wouldn't actually want to watch this.
Wow. Thank you very much. But like I told Emmanuel, he mentioned Fauci a couple times. With disdain. He's going to give him a chance. He's going to give him a chance. But in my head, I really know what Emmanuel's going to do.
What am I going to do?
In my head, you're gonna pick the good stuff, which is Fauci. And you're also going to pick one of the things that he says that maybe proves him wrong on something.
Just whatever, something that he can catch him on. That's what you're going to drive home with him.
And then you're just going to fixate on.
Like, are you crazy? He said.
Yeah.
And just
discard
drive
everything
home.
else.
Yeah.
But the guy didn't prove Terrence wrong on one thing, though. Did he?
Yeah. There was one time where they were going back and forth, and Terrence showed that he thought he had a concept of something, right? And then the man was like, no. But then the man went on to say why it was no. And in that moment, you could tell that Terrence was like, but he took it on the chin. I could tell he also bit his tongue like mad. It's like, crap.
Yeah, they got me.
He's the type that doesn't want to ever hear that he's wrong about anything.
Yeah.
Terrence, he has his own ego, and you could see that also. But that's like every flipping person. You're going to be wrong about things sometimes. How do you take you being wrong or how you being corrected? Do you understand? Because at that point, he was the student.
That's what he's asked for. He asked for your theory to be stress test.
But I told you, you can come into the room saying under the guise that I'm willing to learn, right? Because that's what Terrence was doing. But then you could also see you're just doing that, and it's still be like, I still know more than you do. That's it's like you go and say, teach me. Yes, but you're plotting. I want to know everything so I can basically usurp you. I want to know how you guys speak so I can go and speak and take over everything. That's how Terrence was moving, in my head anyway. And he's had to fight fiercely to even get respected anyway. So I could understand his position because all y'all are calling me a quack anyway. Do you understand? So let me fight for this. And then when it is that somebody in your field now says, give me the stamp, then I can do this and I could... He will get egotistical. He's the type of guy I told you so.
But did he essentially get stamped though?
No.
He didn't?
No. That, again, in my estimation.
Did he call him more brilliant or more fool? Because you said he called him both.
He called him both. But the fool was on his incessant need to not hear what I'm saying. You want to push this onto me. This entire establishment, we don't talk like that. Do you understand? And you even probably have ideas that don't result in what you think it's going to result in. Because that's his mind. Remember, I got all of these. Not all of them are going to work.
At all.
Not all of them would end up in what he has theorized. Do you understand?
That's when he was saying, because I proved the thing, I got these patterns rested to the day. My man's like, stop with all this pattern stuff. Because this pattern stuff ain't it's not saying what you think it's saying. Like, you're not doing what you think you're doing.
You would know that if you were tried and tested in that particular area of invention over and over and over and over and realize, is that what your system does? Okay, I'll go through this thing, but I'm not going to bank your accreditation, your stamp of approval on my intellect or my innovation because you're just a machine. Yeah, and you can decide what you want to rubber stamp and what you don't want to rubber stamp. So that's not going to be the metric to judge me by. That's what these tried and tested. But he thinks, it's patented. So let me shout about it. And then all the people who have been there and done that, they laugh at him. Yeah, man, it's not all of that. Stay calm. And that's what he was doing. Eric. Yeah, you would love, I'm telling you. And there were times when Eric was there theorizing, and then I've got a model for that. Let me show you. And he just wanted to show. But Eric got frustrated each time he was doing that because let me teach you, and there'll be a time for you to basically do this. But he has the entire universe of Terrence Dumb. Wants to just force it all into the brief 4 hours because when next am I going to get this opportunity to basically show the world I'm not a crazy mother ever? Do you understand? So that's his over eagerness. It was doing the conversation a disservice at certain points, but he reined it in. And there's certain times where you can see when Eric was pointing to the screen and Terrence was there. They got you. And there's one time he even said, the paradigm in which it is that you are operating in is racist. So that's why I don't know what law it was. And then Eric was like, you're doing a black card thing. But there are many times when that's a thing, right?
Is
that
not one of them?
I don't know.
Most likely.
I don't know. But there was a time when Joe Rogan said, so you're operating off the premise that you're never going to understand me because you are institutionally finished racism-wise. You understand? You've been conditioned. So you're never going to be able to see what I see because you've been taught to basically do it this racist way.
Okay.
You understand?
That's the purpose that Terrence is going from.
Yeah. No, a couple of those things. He didn't do that for the entire time.
Okay.
Because if that was the case, then it would have been tough looking at it because I don't know much about all of this stuff. Do you understand? And if it's not clear and obvious, it's hard sometimes to just see people playing the race card or weaponizing the race card. Do you understand?
He's never going to get what he wants. He's saying that the parameters that you are working in are wrong. And they're saying, who are you to tell us that is wrong? Because if he's right, obviously, man, everything that you know, everything, your starting points are all wrong. So your end points are going to be wrong. Your conclusions, everything is wrong because of the parameters and the thing that you're working in is wrong. He's essentially not allowed to say that because no one's allowed to say that, if that makes sense. No one can't just walk up and just tell all these people that they're wrong. These scientists that in their communities that's been testing stuff, someone from outside, it's impossible for them to walk up and say that they're wrong. But what's also going to be is impossible for them to be allowed to prove that they're wrong. For someone from outside to walk into this system and shut it all down and change what you know. That's like telling you the sun's not yellow. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Your brain can't comprehend it. That's what he's talking about, where you've been institutionalized, where you're tainted in it, because there's nothing anyone's going to tell you that's going to make you look at these from different parameters, because as far as you're concerned, you know what you know, and I'm telling you what you know is wrong. But that's why it's like the chicken or the egg thing. Like, no one's actually allowed to say that, so there's nothing he can do to prove this. They're not going to allow you to come and prove it and tear down your whole institution, firstly. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't want you to do that. They're happy with the way that they think. And then also it's like, who's come and told you? Like, there's too much going on for him to ever be right or for it to be proven right, because I mean, it will change the world as you know it. You get what I'm trying to say? And when you work on and you stand alone on an island like that, you're always going to come from a place of crazy. There's no, but go on, tell the truth. Because there's nothing to back up his. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Do you know how I kind of see it? I kind of see it like, imagine someone comes to you and says, the way we've been playing football is wrong. If you look at Carney's goal, when he flicked it, yeah, from, I don't know, wherever it was, yeah, outside the box, whatever, and he went in, and they used that as evidence to say, look, when you do that, you can bamboozle the defense and play on an elite level. That's the evidence, showing you different angles of this one thing, yeah, and then saying that's the best way to play football. It's not. It's just part of the game. It's just one thing. Imagine a defender, midfielder, striker, goalkeeper, all playing football, just like flicking it. The entire game. No one's running, no one's dribbling, no one's heading, just flicking it. It's insane. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's only seen one thing. And it's because he's not had any formal education in that particular area to understand everything he said was probably said by somebody 2,000 years ago and was ridiculed and proven to be absolute false. We've moved past it.
All right, so on that point, I understand your analogy, and I understand that in response to what Marg said, because he made that in isolation thing, and that's when he's like, wait a minute. I understand how you responded in that sense. Eric basically said, the majority of the things that you've done, it's not new. Not that it's been done and debunked. It hasn't. He is operating off the back of things that you may not, because you haven't gone through that formal education, you haven't done the research to realize and a couple of times he actually showed this person's already done this. This person's already done that. And that may give him lifted his spirits, because you're now saying this foundation is good, this foundation is good, this foundation is good. Even though I didn't go through the pathway that you did to get that, you're now showing me someone else has done this. Not that it's debunked. There was one time where he asked, wait, have you checked to see if anybody else has done this thing? Do you understand? Because he's not operating on the premise of, wait, this is brilliant because you've got no formal teaching, but yet you've managed to basically get this done. That's brilliant. You're using all the wrong words, cool, but you've done it. Let me just show you, this person did it before you. Here. Right? Now, Terrence is like, cool, but this is just baby. I've got other things I've gone on to do. Do you understand? And this one thing that Eric was really, really surprised about was the thing he was now questioning, are you sure to double check if nobody else has done this already? Because this is brilliant. So I don't know if it's just you that's done this, and he's like, yeah, I didn't do any research. This is it all me. He's like, well, this here, if you just focus on this, oh my goodness. Because for Eric, he didn't have anything else to basically show him the first of its kind of the thing that he's now impressed with. And that's what he was like, wow, okay, you are a brilliant man, but you're rough around the edges if you want to basically come and play with us because we don't talk in that language. I can send you math people to basically get them to basically use the structures to make sense of what you're doing so that we can basically participate. Because what you're doing, only you can do that, and only people who understand you and talk like you would be able to participate. But it sounds as though you want the world to benefit from this. If that's the case, you need to change your language, you need to change your method of approach. That's what I got from that. He's not telling him, no. So to your point, it's not that metaphor. It's not that he's telling everybody to do this. No. A lot of the foundation of what he was saying, Eric actually rubber stamped it and said, no, it's done before. And he opened them up to say, yeah, this is where I started. This is where I went. And he's even saying it's the thing that you're doing. We're limited to where we can go because of how you're thinking about things. Even me coming to tell you about this, you guys are shutting it down. That shows that the progress, the mechanisms for progress isn't where it needs to be. And Eric also spoke to that. And he said it's so frustrating because people would quicker cut you down than basically hear you out to see what's wrong with this approach. Do you understand? And you would leave a whole set of invention on the floor because you said 1 × 1 = whatever. And again, at one point, he actually turns around to say, yeah. All right, I'm going to stop talking about that because that's obviously a trigger for you. This is Terrence, that's obviously a trigger for you, right? I could basically talk about it. But you see how it is you're now paying attention because I said that? And the thing is, you would be like, I'm not watching that off the back of that. You tricked me.
The thing is, I actually want to watch it because
of the Fauci stuff.
No, nothing to do with Fauci. Purely because we've got an intelligent person teaching somebody and hopefully the rest of the world about what it means to have an education about stuff and learn something before you talk. That's the reason why I want to watch it. How he systematically shows them respect, doesn't demoralize them or whatever, but actually shows them, listen, it's cool you have these ideas, but it doesn't mean anything because you've not actually done this. Have peers around you like scrutinize your ideas and then come to the forefront. You benefit from the fact that you're an actor, that you've got people's attention already. You know what I'm saying? But if he was in university, this would have been squashed on day one. Day one.
I don't think he's saying, because I haven't watched it, but even with what you're trying to take from that, that's not what I'm getting what Brent's saying.
Okay.
And it's not. But before you jump to that, speak to the value you place in Babalawos.
Okay.
Because remember, you talk about the importance of embracing that African spirituality. Can they teach their education to the masses? Do they teach the education to the masses?
No.
And what they're able to do, in your estimation, is it stuff that science would basically green stamp?
Some stuff, yeah, 100%.
What?
Yeah.
Did you hear the question I asked him?
100%.
With science green stamp.
There's a book by
There's some of their
professor.
teachings and practices.
Yeah. And she...
Which doctors?
No, the Ifa and basically the practices.
Me.
The practices. Yeah, you have to understand that there's a realm... there's a realm where... Huh?
See, he's trying to do the terror stuff now. Go on.
There's a book by a professor, she's passed away now, called Sophie Oluwole. Yeah.
She's Nigerian?
Yeah, 100% Yoruba.
Okay.
And she's about... She basically talks about the similarities between the philosophies, the teaching, the maths even, the binary system of Socrates and Orunmila. Orunmila is the Yoruba person who gave us Ifa, basically. So all the stuff that people kind of see as, I don't know, esoteric and all fairy sort of stuff, a lot of it is rooted in maths, if you look at it. But there's also the spiritual realm to it that you can't necessarily put your fingers on. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very big and bad oversimplification of Yoruba tradition or even African tradition to just say, oh, it's just mystical stuff.
Yeah,
no, a lot of it's based on science.
You're being too vague with the question I've asked, right?
Okay, go on.
Because there's Terrence Howard saying what he's saying in the manner in which he's saying it. And then it's you standing next to him looking to basically combat or compare with African spirituality. And who would look at both of them and say, "Yep, you're on the nose," and Terrence is a madman?
I would. but I think other people would, and I'll tell you why.
Wait.
Yeah.
The majority of people, would they look at you as a madman or Terrence more of a madman?
I think it depends on the person, and I'll tell you why.
I know it depends on the person, but I'm talking about.
telling you.
Wait a minute.
The
What are we
masses,
doing here?
No, wait. I'll tell you why. An educated person, yeah, who knows about science and also understands philosophy and just spirituality, will look at Terrence as the madman. Because Terrence is
Jesus
not.
Christ.
Wait.
I need you in this conversation.
Man said,
Terrence,
Jesus
I
Christ.
need
Terrence
you
is not
in this
operating.
conversation, Marks, because this is bewildering to me. Do you,
Yeah.
the Babalawo that you are there telling me that you know I don't know the practices they do, right?
This is what I'm trying
But
to
the
tell you.
sacrifice and
Yes.
the blood mixing and that's
Yeah.
science based.
No, some of
Math?
it's not. No. The way we read, right? So we have something called Odu, right? The Odu Ifa.
I'm not talking about the math part of what you're doing. They're telling me about. I'm talking
So
about
you're just talking about only the
juju.
spiritual. I don't know about what juju is. You're talking about the spirituality part of it, right? That's what I'm trying to say to you.
This is frustrating to me.
Listen.
Let me quieten down. Let me quieten down. I apologize. Go.
The reason what you're doing is basically taking away the maths part, right? The part that somebody who's aware of the foundations of these things, right, is aware of. You're removing that and only focusing on the spirituality part. And if you want to do it, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say to you is you have to now assess the spirituality part with other spiritual ideas rather than with science and what Terrence is doing. Because the reality is you could talk about the sacrifice of this, that, and the third. What did Jesus do? Jesus came and told you, drink my blood, eat my flesh. If an African man does that now, all of a sudden it doesn't make sense. But what I'm trying to say to you is you have to understand it in the spiritual
Wait, what did
context.
you just do with the whole eat my blood and drink my flesh?
Because you mentioned about sacrificing and how that's juju and all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm saying to you.
No. Are you saying that Jesus meant to eat my physical?
Don't you think it was a metaphor?
Wait a minute. What did you just compare this to? Because the sacrificing is a physical thing. The drink my blood and eat my flesh is not, and you know that.
No. But the point I'm trying to say to you is a lot of these things, right? Because a lot of these things that you see paralleled in different belief systems, a lot of these things that you see in parallel in different belief systems are seen as evil in a particular one. But in Christianity,
I'll move on for that because I'm not going to get into it because it's too black and white.
Okay, cool.
So, the math in the African spirituality.
Yeah,
right.
African spirituality, that's very wide. You can't just say African spirituality.
No, I'm actually talking about the witch doctor stuff. I'm talking about not the people who hand out cards, because I don't think that they've got that much power, but the ones who are in the village who are appointed to basically say, I can heal this, I can give you blessings, I can look to basically do this, that, and the next, right? The mad ones, where they bury stuff and then they do chanting of the sign next. I'm talking about that.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm also trying to do is separate some of what you're saying. It's kind of like those people who understood that the active ingredient in paracetamol is an active ingredient in particular plants. So just because we see it as, for example, they're just mixing up herbs and stuff like this, right? These people have studied. These people understand to go into certain forests back home and pick specific plants, parts of plants, grind them, do certain things to heal people. May seem...
No.
Okay,
I want to remove the healing part of it because you can use herbs to heal, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about I will give you monetary success.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff is fake.
Wait. All right. So when it comes to the Babalawo,
Yeah.
the monetary success is fake.
No, I can't speak specifically about certain things, but a lot of this stuff is fake.
I'm talking about the outcome being a miracle, not the using herbs to heal. Anybody could scientifically say, yep, there's something there because you're using. I'm talking about having a spiritual outcome.
Okay.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do. But what
That's what I'm saying. Wait, before you go on. That's what I want to point out.
That's judge.
No, forget what. Don't label it. What I want to point out is that you would believe that a spiritual outcome can be achieved, right? This is often that the world would say, nope, that's madness.
But then
Let me finish.
Okay, go on.
And because you would subscribe to that,
all right,
right?
Yeah.
And Terrence is not running around saying this is spiritual, this, that, and next. He's not. He's saying you're using these physical things to now have this particular outcome that's past your limitation, right? if you are standing next to Terrence and
Yeah.
you are saying, "Yep, this particular man will give me a spiritual outcome," and then Terrence is saying, "I will show you physical models to get this and this and next," who is the world going to look at more of a madman, you or Terrence?
Okay, and let me explain to my answer in this particular way. If it was me, I'm a random person walking by on the street, and you call me to assess these two people, my brain automatically shifts between science and somebody who's speaking to me in a spiritual, religious manner. I do not mix the two. So what I'm trying to say to you is...
No, I think you've confused me. I
go
can
on.
see the difference between the two. I can see that. I'm also talking about you and your brain, your logical brain, also believes in this spiritual thing.
Yes.
So you would go against a lot of people telling this person that they can't do such and such because it's of a spiritual nature and they don't understand it. You could understand applying reasoning to that, but you can't understand a man saying something completely different to everybody else and it not being adhered to.
I kind
Do
of
you understand?
but
And that's why I find it's ridiculous. You ridiculing him because you also are him.
Brent, you don't understand what I'm trying to say to you. You have to understand, because I have a certain sort of education, right? I understand when someone's talking to me in a particular language, right? Like, for instance, if I was to talk to you right now in supreme mathematics, like a bona fide 5%er, you guys will think I'm talking gibberish. If a 5% is sitting here, he will respond to me in the same language. Terrence is talking gibberish because he's saying, wait a minute.
I can guarantee you that the example you're using,
Yeah.
there are other people out there like Terrence that will understand what he's saying. Because I understand
Flat
what he's saying.
earthers, yes.
I
Conspiracy theorists.
understand what he's saying.
People who don't have education in that area.
You can't run to that because, like I told you, this 4-hour conversation, it dispels this whole only flat earthers would basically listen to this guy. He has evidence. Do you understand? Flat earthers are completely different.
What evidence does he have that
He
Weinstein
showed the
throw in the
models.
bin?
I beg you, watch the thing before
I
you
need to
continue
watch
talking.
this.
I
Exactly.
beg you.
You're saying that
Let's watch it.
Eric Weinstein's so smart. He validates his train of thought in certain parts. So what is that shoots down your whole theory then? Because then is Weinstein or if I'm saying it wrong, sorry. Weinstein. Is Weinstein a conspiracy theorist and a flat earther too then? Because that's someone that you respect, and there's going to be certain parts of the conversations where he where he validates the things that he's saying, gives credence to it and stuff like that. What happens then?
Do you know how I kind of see it? Again, I'm just talking here because I've not seen it. I need to see it. So you have to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. And obviously, ignorance, right? I have not seen it. But it's kind of like somebody saying to me, this is the impression I'm getting, right?
I have a lot of impressions.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it.
Precisely, go.
All right. So it's kind of like someone saying to me, and I'm Weinstein here. Someone saying to me, listen, based on my evidence, the things I've observed from my angles, and believe me, I've been all the way down there and all the way down there. As far as I can see, based on the shadow patterns and how far I can throw this, the trajectory, the mechanics of this ball I've thrown, calculating acceleration and mass, I can see that from here to down there, the Earth is relatively flat. And I will conclude that as far as we keep going, the Earth is flat. Now, I, as Weinstein here, will listen to this and be like, okay, cool. I understand what you're saying. Because 2,000 years ago, we thought the same thing. And people actually kept walking and kept walking and kept walking. And it seemed to them as flat. But then I understand that that's 2,000 years ago. We've moved past that. We've seen things. We've observed heavenly bodies. We understand that the world is not flat. I can't entertain the garbage. So I understand that, yes, you've had this idea. And guys, granted, it makes sense because somebody human did think this way too. But we've moved past this. That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah, but
that
also
he's
at that
thinking,
point when they was challenging and saying that the world's round, it wasn't met with open arms. They was met like Terrence Howard.
Yes, 100%.
No, you can't say like Terrence Howard. You can't say that because
Why
Galileo had maths.
But they had to
Copernicus
fight
had
for their
maths.
corner. It wasn't something. Someone didn't just come and change it and just openly accepted.
No, you
it got
can't do
stress
that.
tested and like what you're saying, that what Terrence needs to go through. But they would have got met like how Terrence got met.
That's not true.
The same with like screwing into your brain to basically release demons and stuff. That was all accepted.
And leeches and that.
All of that stuff. No, but honestly,
all accepted.
that's what, and that's just
maniacs.
we're not maniacs. That's the point of the conversation.
This is
That's the point of history and the stuff that you're missing, isn't it? And you're just moving that these theories just came in and just got accepted. When people came in with radical change and new things,
I know that
they got
Galileo
met
was
with
arrested.
ridicule.
I know that. I understand what you're saying. But what I'm also saying is people like these people had maths though. And it's just that he was... People like Galileo wasn't up necessarily against other scientists. They were up against religious folk. People who didn't want to accept this because based on their interpretation of scripture, the earth is the center of the universe. You see what I'm saying? But maths show different.
But you're just missing the whole point. You're just dismissing him because he's saying because you're not using the same language or you didn't go to the same schooling. And that could be with anything. When people are self-taught and they do things different ways, the conversation is you're not doing this in a way that we understand. So we've been taught, it could be with anything. You've been taught a way to do certain things. You haven't been taught. Yeah, you're self-taught, but you're almost coming to the same conclusions that we're coming to, even making advancements in what we're doing. Yeah. So then, because I have experience in that field, I can say, okay, cool. There's substance to what you're doing here. Yeah. I'm just letting you know that if you want to be respected and be taken seriously, there's certain bells and whistles that you have that it needs. There's, you got to cross your I's and dot your T's. There's certain language that needs to be used so you can explain it to the masses because we don't do these things. We don't do that. We understand there's certain rules that we put in place. You've managed to get to the same destination or potentially can go even further without these rules. That's not shooting down what you're doing. It's just letting you know that you need to tweak it. You know what I'm trying to say? And you need to understand and use our language if you want to get us on board. It's not discrediting everything that you're saying, that everything's bullshit. You know what I'm trying to say? Because things, when people are self-taught, they don't know the certain rules. They say like, you could do plumbing, you have to understand there's certain rules and regulations. Certain things need to be, it's precise. It can only be 30 millimeters from here and 40 millimeters from this, and this needs to be this much thickness and there's safety protocols and whatnot and whatnot. And that's the way that we know and we do it properly. Someone can come and make the same contraption and get the same results, but their measurements ain't right. Their measurements ain't right. Your millimeters ain't there. This is not up to code. This is not up to standard. There's language that you're using that I don't even make sense to me because I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. But I can see physically you've made this boiler or this contraption, whatever. I can see it works. It's just not up to code, up to our standards, innit? So now I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you, this is the language you need to use. This is the thing you need to put in place for people to respect it and accept it. But me physically can see what you've done works. It doesn't speak to you being crazy or being a fool. It's just lack of knowledge in a certain areas.
Your examples here is good if that was the case. From what I'm getting from what Brent's saying, again, I'm not seeing it. I don't think that's what Weinstein's saying. I think he's saying, in some nice ways, have the language correct. We will look at it and show you are wrong.
No,
That's not
what you got from what I was saying.
No. That's what I'm getting from scientists.
No, that doesn't. But you said that's what you got from what I was saying.
Yeah. No, do you know what it is? It's kind of like somebody,
Because that's what Joe was asking for. So
because
is it wrong?
Again, you know, it's best if I just watch it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I feel like sometimes,
You know, you can go to Africa, right? Nigeria,
Yeah.
and you can see a whole set of innovation.
yes,
That would bug you.
100%.
Well, because you're coming from Western civilization.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So to all of what you said, 100%.
But the difference is, Brent,
Sorry?
the difference is, Brent, though, when you see the innovation, you're seeing the innovation. You're seeing them with these models. It works.
Innovation and invention, by the way.
But it works. They use it.
Thank you very much.
No, Brent, they use it. They're not just showing your model the size of their hand, telling you this is how Saturn was formed. They're not doing this type of stuff.
You're doing it again. You're picking just one thing that you think is crazy because you don't even understand it yourself, by the way. To suggest that you do, you don't.
All right.
Do you understand what it is that he was suggesting?
That Terrence was saying.
The Saturn forming with this Saturn X.
I can't remember it fully, but secondly, I can't fully understand it because I don't think it makes sense. It tell me that gravity is not real. It doesn't make sense.
No, he
Because you know he said that, right? You can tell me he didn't say it.
No, he said quite a few dumb stuff. I mean, I'm not
That's what I'm
saying
trying
that.
to say to you.
What?
No, but wait,
what are you
Brent.
hearing from me?
No,
What are you
forget
hearing
you.
from me?
It's what-
I
I'm
do
not
not
counting
believe
you, I'm
1
counting
times
Terrence.
1 equals bloody 2. I don't believe that. Do you understand? Can you hear me saying I don't believe that?
We're not talking about that, though. And we're not talking about you. We're talking about Terrence.
And I also believe I have done and said stuff that is absolutely stupid.
All of us have.
But this is how I'm seeing humanity in him. I'm not saying that everything that he's saying is right. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying don't look to discount everything that he's saying because 1 × 1 = 2. Because he has an explanation for that. And his explanation, I can understand why you're saying that based on how you're formulating this particular thing. I just don't believe it. The
this is
same
what I
way
like.
I
This is
can
what I
say
like.
I believe in Jesus Christ.
This is what I like,
believe
though.
that the world was created by God. There are many scientists who think that's absolutely bonkers.
But this is what I'm
Do you
saying to you.
understand?
But
I
Brent,
live in a world where we're seeing these differences.
But this is what I'm saying to you. You saying that 1 × 1, I don't believe it, right? I'm being generous even saying I don't believe it. It's not a belief here. It is wrong. Wait. And also, you saying, but I can understand why you see it this way based on your formulations and this, that, and the third. That's because you're taking the time to listen to what this guy said and understands why he reaches that point. Just like a teacher can understand why a child looks at 3 + 5 and reaches 35. But at some point, you have to say, I have to stop listening to this foolishness and stop saying that all of this other stuff is wrong.
It's like Eric and you having a conversation and you trying to tell him about African spirituality.
Okay.
And he basically discounted everything you're saying based on what you think about African spirituality.
I don't think that's the case, though.
How?
Because I think that Terrence is talking about scientific things. When you talk about scientific things, you have to use mathematics. When you're talking about, you can do what the hell you want.
He
You can do whatever you want.
was using mathematics. You're saying he wasn't. Where are you getting this from?
Who was using maths?
This
Terrence.
Terrence. Every single aspect, even when he pulled up the formulas, he's like, da, 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 da. You can tell. All right. A couple of times, Eric was like, you just mentioned that person's name. Yeah. It made me smile. So you know what you're talking about. This is in the conversation.
I need
Do you
to watch
understand?
it. I need to watch it.
Do you understand? So I don't know if we can continue talking until it is you watch this. We can't. Because you're just going. That's all you're doing.
I need to watch it. When I watch it, I'll come back with my analysis.
And remember, you said that about Fauci. So
About what about Fauci?
that he doesn't trust Fauci. All right, we have 20 minutes left.
Less than that. Less than that.
that was that for today, baby.
Yeah, for real.
Ramsey's saying that a mic is distorted. Is anybody else
Picking up on that?
Yeah, picking up on that. Because I've checked over here and I'm not seeing anything on my end, but
Yo.
I don't know how it's coming across. Let me see if I can play the actual stream on YouTube. Give me a second. Ramsey's
just
saying
chopped up
that
some clips,
a
man, and
mic
just gave
is
them a special show
distorted.
this morning
Is
because wait.
anybody else picking up on that? I've checked over
So the
here.
headlines will wait, man. I'll tell you what happened the day
There was
after.
one time when he
after.
asked,
Oh, it's
if
Emmanuel's.
anybody else has done this thing.
Man.
Apparently, can
You
you
understand?
pull it out and then put it
Because
back
he's not operating on the premise of, wait,
in? I don't know if that's going to change anything. Let me see.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have opposing thoughts in this day and age. I question a lot of that gravity stuff, and because I do, people call me a flat earther. It's not
Why
fair.
do you question the gravity stuff though?
Just because when you go down rabbit holes, a lot of the stuff that people say about it makes sense if you question it. If it like,
They spoke about that too. There's a nice little segment of them speaking about that. And again, I want you to listen to it and then come back to me and then see if you still hold that view that he thinks gravity doesn't exist.
See if I heard of you.
yeah,
That you
Okay.
hold the view that Terrence
Okay.
believes that. Yeah,
okay. It's only because I felt as though in the first one that's what he said. But again, I could be wrong in it.
oh, fuck it, wasn't he just saying like it doesn't work the way you lot think it works? If that makes sense, it's just a different outlook. It's just a different outlook on it.
Remember
Not to
when
say
he
like
was-
it don't exist. I understand that there's something there. It's just that it's not what you lot are saying in it.
And also, you know when he was talking about unified field theory and talking about unifying order for forces, like when I heard that, and I'm not trying to say it in some type of way, but I'll never forget. Stephen might even remember this, being in secondary school, like 14. And I remember going up to my teacher, yeah. This guy was a Canadian guy, Mr. Gaskell. And I said to him, yo, like what hasn't been discovered yet? Because my brain was thinking, I want to discover something. So when Terrence is saying this, yeah, this was coming back to me and I started laughing. I'm 14. And I said, yo, he said to me, unified field theory. I said, what's that? Basically an idea that unifies all the 4 forces of the universe: strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force, gravity. Some unifying principle, da da da. I went away. I've done my research. I've come back with an essay. And I've given it to him. He's looked at it. He said, cool, this is interesting. He's marked here, this, that, and the third. Fine. He's not beat me up. He's not told me this is garbage. But obviously it was. Because I've not discovered anything. I've not done what was essential for the scientific world to take me serious and say this is the answer to this. Terrence said he did this at 7 years old.
Oh, so it's resentment. You see yourself.
Oh my God.
You see yourself in Terrence, and Terrence is having opportunities that you didn't have just because he's an actor.
Oh my God.
No, because your intelligence knows no bounds at this point, the way you're talking. So, you know, look at this thing. I'm getting it. Oh my God, he's saying I'm Terrence Howard before Terrence, but no one ain't listening to me. And I can't get on Joe Rogan. It's making so much sense now. It's making so much sense.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Your ego is crazy.
It's nothing. Oh, I can't believe this.
You walked right into that.
This is crazy. The point is, I didn't do it, and neither did Terrence. And wait, did Weinstein even talk about that?
About what?
Unified theory.
No.
Okay, unfortunately.
No.
That's very-
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. The string theory is the whole wave
No,
conjugation.
unified field
that's
theory.
the thing he was telling Terrence about. It's like wave conjugation. Yeah, like I don't understand what you're saying.
Just talking.
but I beg you, explain to me so I could basically now
Yeah.
I could translate it for you. And then
Yeah.
Terrence was like, "This is why I'm here, for you to basically make sense to the rest of the world of what I'm doing here."
Okay.
Do you understand? So he's not claiming that he can speak the language, but he's claiming, I found this. And obviously he says that he got this in a dream, right? Some angel gave it to him.
When he gets there, how is that received by Eric?
What?
When he gets to there,
Where?
do they bring that part up again about how he received the information, the angel?
yeah.
I'm saying, how is that received by Eric?
Eric was like, I need people to stop doing that. Giving credit to divination.
Okay, cool. So
Yes,
he's saying it's your mind, not no divine
That's
spirit.
because and that tells me that he doesn't believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, for me, that caps Eric. Even though he's a brilliant man and the world thinks he's brilliant, you're capped because when it comes to spirituality, you can't go past what you feel logic.
So there's a plane that you can't even function
You
on.
can't. And when Terrence, obviously, when he said, he's like, yeah, I mean, I see who you are. You're always going to be limited because you're not even considering that this other thing exists. Do you understand? And just smart person.
Spectrum, I'm always going to be crazy.
I'm always going to be crazy. And I can see that in that. I can see that Eric is brilliant. I can see that Terrence is brilliant. I can see that Eric is lacking. I can see that Terrence is lacking. And that's how I can basically take from the conversation.
Do you think, because was it genuine enough, do you think he would have another conversation with him without all the bells and whistles, without the cameras there, like a genuine?
He promised that he was now going to follow up on and also give him help with researchers and mathematicians and this, that, and this. Because he called him a polymath. I still haven't Googled that. So he's coined his ideology or his philosophy. And he's also told him, I have a best friend who did that same thing with the periodic table, with the whole songs and stuff. Here's a video. It was the first time Terrence ever saw that. Do you understand? So that was even blowing his mind because there's somebody that you basically credit, and he's black, and he was on this whole boom, 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 and it's a video of him, and you're calling him one of the most brilliant minds you've ever seen, and he doesn't think the way I think. Cool. It's just semantics at this point.
I'm gonna go and watch it. Early start, early finish, early start. I'll be done by 1 o'clock, guys. Ooh, what happened?
Oh no! Demi asked me about the book I was referencing by Dr. or Professor Sophie Oluwole. The book is called Socrates and Orunmila, the two patron saints of classical philosophy. So basically, she talks about the similarities between Ifra and I guess classical philosophy. are seen through the West. But yeah, man. Should we get on to some headlines?
Maybe.
All right, people. So let me run through all the headlines in one go.
Is the mic still doing it?
I don't know.
Uh,
The mic is trying to censor Brent. It doesn't matter if you can't hear me, to be honest. The mic was talking. I don't really mind you'll not be able to hear me. Some of you won't be muted anyway.
Trigger warning, people. So big trigger warning. This is about that animal of a woman. The former nurse, Lucy Letby, who's now been found guilty of trying to kill a premature baby girl. So the 34-year-old was convicted of attempting to murder the child referred to in court as Baby K following a retrial. Last August, Letby was convicted by a different jury of murders of 7 babies and the attempted murders of 6 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital's neonatal unit between June 2015 and June of 2016. However, a verdict on the allegation relating to Baby K could not be reached and a retrial was ordered. The retrial jury found her guilty of trying to murder the very premature infant by dislodging her breathing tube in the early hours of the 17th of February 2016. The parents of Baby K gasped and then cried as the jury foreman read out the verdict following the 3.5 hours of deliberation. Letby showed no emotion in the dock. Next headline, and Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister, made his first public appearance in the Conservative election campaign to warn voters against electing a Labour government on the 4th of July. Johnson stated that a potential Labour government led by Sir Keir Starmer would destroy so much of what we have achieved. He emphasised the risk of a supermajority for Labour, which could hamper democratic accountability. Johnson criticised Labour's agenda, including tax rises and complacency, and the event aimed to rally supporters in the final hours before polling day. Next headline, and trigger warning on this one, and the son of Mark Duggan, who's a rapper, for those who don't know, Mark Duggan, who was shot dead by police 13 years ago, his son is now facing jail after admitting to having a gun. So Kimani Duggan, who's 23, who's also known as Lando K, had been due to face trial at the Old Bailey for possession of a pistol and 22 bulleted cartridges with intent to endanger life last year. But just before his trial was due to start, he pled guilty to lesser offences of possession with intent to cause fear of violence. The charges stated that he and Abdu Bojang, with others, had a Tokarev self-loading pistol and the cartridges, between February 19th and March 21st last year. Bojang, 22, from London, North London, Hackney, denied the charge but admitted to possessing a prohibited firearm and ammunition without a firearm certificate, which Duggan had also previously admitted as well. The minimum sentence for having a gun is 5 years in prison. Next headline takes us to Greece. Imagine, we were just talking about Greece yesterday. And starting July 1st, Greece will now implement a new law allowing a 6-day working week. This is the first for any EU country. So passed by the Greek Parliament with support from the ruling New Democracy Party, this law enables full-time workers to work a 6th day with an additional 40% of their daily wage. Employers can require employees to work on their day off with just 24 hours notice. New hires will have a 6-month probation period and can be dismissed without compensation during the first year. The law is aimed at increasing flexibility and combating undeclared work. Opposition parties and unions argue that it will lead to worker exploitation and undermine labour rights. Concerns include insufficient labour inspections and the potential for increased working hours detracting from family life and personal well-being. Greece already has one of the highest average weekly working hours in the EU. Next headline is basically just about Jay Slater's mother releasing a new statement. This is the teenager who went missing that we spoke about yesterday in Tenerife. His mother, Debbie Duncan, expressed that they are absolutely devastated by his disappearance. The Spanish police conducted an extensive 12-day land search in the mountains where Jay's last phone call was traced, but he has not been found. Although the land search ended, the Spanish authorities continued their investigation into why Jay had traveled to a location so far from his accommodation. Jay's family remains hopeful and appreciates the efforts of the Spanish authorities in pursuing leads. And the next headline takes us to America, where the Biden administration awarded $504 million on Tuesday to dozens of projects across the U.S. in a bid to transform communities that had been overlooked in the past into technological powerhouses. So the grants will fund tech hubs that aim to bolster the production of critical technologies in regions including Western Montana, Central Indiana, South Florida, and upstate New York. The hubs are meant to accelerate the growth of advanced industries such as biomanufacturing, clean energy, artificial intelligence, and personalized medicine. The program reflects a federal effort to expand America's science and technology funding beyond Silicon Valley. Now, last set of headlines. The US has come out that the US tried to help Mercuria, which is a Swiss trading house, buy copper cobalt mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So the deal depended. This deal depended on lifting sanctions against Israeli billionaire Dan Gertler, who was sanctioned for alleged corruption in 2017. This is what these people are doing. The unusual initiative, spearheaded by President Biden's senior energy advisor Amos Hochstein, reflects the competition between the US and China for access to the minerals. Mercuria was identified by the US as a potential buyer for the mines. It held talks last year with the current owner, Kazakh-controlled Eurasian Resources Group, and the US government has rarely intervened in international mining projects so directly, but they're here doing it in Congo. But the US would like to facilitate a sale to a US friendly buyer, and a future deal with Mercuria is not off the table. The Biden administration is proposing to lift its restrictions against Gertler in order to facilitate it. Gertler, by the way, was hit with sanctions in 2017 for alleged corrupt dealings in Congo, but retains royalty streams from 3 mines. Under the proposed agreement, the US would grant Gertler licenses to sell his assets back to the Congolese government for at least $300 million. In return, Gertler would regain access to the US financial system after relinquishing his Congo investments. The proposal will obviously face criticism from civil society groups and US lawmakers for potentially undermining US sanctions. And France's left-wing and centrist parties have withdrawn over 200 candidates from Sunday's parliamentary elections. The goal is to thwart the formation of the country's first far-right government since World War II. These withdrawing candidates were mostly either allies of President Macron or from left-wing parties. Marine Le Pen's far-right party, the National Rally, they won the most seats in the first round of voting on June 30th. Obviously, we spoke about that as well. And her party aims to win enough seats in the second round to form a government, but Macron's centrists and left-wing parties are hoping to prevent this outcome. Similar efforts to build a broad coalition of centrist and left-wing parties to thwart the far right in France have been successful in the past. That included in 2002 when the voters rallied behind Jacques Chirac to defeat Le Pen's father, Jean-Marie, in a presidential contest. And our last headline takes us to Grenada, where the Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, will travel to Carriacou and Petite Martinique Islands to assess the devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl. So Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Carriacou as a Category 4 storm, causing widespread damage across the island, which is home to approximately 10,000 people. The Prime Minister will be accompanied by representatives from the National Disaster Management Agency and other officials to offer assistance and provide relief supplies. Grenada remains in a state of emergency until July 7th, and citizens are encouraged to take necessary precautions for their safety and their security. And that's it for the headlines.
Is that all of them?
Yep.
As in, when I say all of them, not from the super segment, all of them.
Yeah, all.
Oh, you done all of them?
That's 9, yeah.
All right, lovely. Can you do the...
People, John?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Let me just press the... Focus on the meat.
Get to the crux of things.
All right, guys. Welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. There ain't much to talk about, man. Like I said yesterday, we went over all the manifestos. If you guys have not listened to yesterday's show, please do. Everybody in here did a fantastic job of relaying the policies, manifestos of the top 5 parties in the country.
Yeah, they really did.
Should they get in power?
I'm pissed I didn't get more votes.
It did well, man. third place. That's good.
Do you reckon I got any seats?
I think so. You might get a call from Nigel.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Well,
All right.
There's a lot of money floating around campaign time, man. I'm not going to
100%.
lie.
I'm telling
They
you.
run the bottom, man.
I'm telling you.
They need I swear they need me for diversity. Actually, that's not their thing, innit?
Nah, well, to be honest, I saw a Sikh contingent campaigning for reform just this morning when I went on Twitter. And they have at the side of their buses or vans vote reform, and that person was, I guess, that constituent. He was running for reform. So I don't think he's got the message yet.
What colour was the van? Coconut brown.
It was white and it had light blue stickers and stuff. Can you imagine? Let me see if we can find it. Hold up.
Even while you're doing that, there's another guy, unless I'm talking about the same guy, called Habib or Habibi. He's one of the top guys in reform as well. He's the guy that's responsible for saying, listen, if up to me, I'll let the asylum seekers drown in this is what the man said, you know. I'll let them drown.
Serious.
Yeah, that's what he said. But yeah, while you're looking for that,
Yeah.
there isn't much to talk about, to be fair. One of the main things that Brent made me aware of this morning is the
That's
fact
because,
that...
Anthony brought it to my attention.
Okay, big up Anthony, man. Oh, I'm so disgusted. I'm disgusted in us, to be fair, because we allowed this bollocks. Sadiq Khan,
Oh, what's he done now?
the man's extending the London congestion charge to all zero-emission vehicles from the end of next year. So remember before, it would be a benefit if you got an electric car. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Electric cars got to pay congestion.
Congestion charge, yes, from Christmas Day, you know. That's your gift, guys.
They're pieces of shit, man.
He
the amount
is.
of money they make off cars in this country is
Disgusting.
crazy.
Disgusting.
Like it's crazy, just from the ticketing, the fines, the cameras, the speeding, the emissions. It's like, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. They do us so dirty. It's disgusting.
Yep. And they want more, man. So, yeah.
Is this a reform man, then? Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Can't see. I can't see.
It's interesting.
Let me look at the quote tweets I might find out there.
I'm gonna find some some jokes in there.
Oh, definitely will.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So they're looking to extend congestion charge to all zero-emission vehicles. £15 a day. For those who don't know about congestion charge, if you're not from London, basically it's going to be applied to all vehicles, man, from Christmas Day 2025. It was condemned, obviously, widely on Tuesday. Transport Secretary Mark Harper said that taxing cars, even if there's zero emissions, shows that Labour's plan is to use motorists as cash cows. If they get into government, there will be worse to come. With pay-by-miles taxes and fuel duty hikes to help close the £2,000 tax black hole. So yeah, obviously this guy's still holding on to that £2,000 thing. But yeah, this is basically what Sadiq Khan is doing, man. This is why we need to vote. This is what Natalie was saying. This is what we were saying. Only 40% of people turned out to vote for the Mayor of London. Only 40%. 60% minded their business. And now, this is what we're getting. And
What's
this
this,
is
Brent?
the first year.
It's AI. That's reform, innit?
That is.
Come on, man. Diversity, inclusiveness.
Can I speak to this?
Can they get your vote, man?
This is it's Terrence Howard. You know, we focus on one thing. they heard no interest on student loans was exciting. They forgot everything else. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, they were giving these T-shirts. They were probably doing worship. And they were giving these T-shirts and handed a couple tenors.
That's a shame. Damn shame. Oh man. But yes, that's pretty much it. Oh, the only thing, the other thing I wanted to mention is just to reiterate what I mentioned yesterday about the Virgin points, because somebody I noticed asked if I posted in the Discord. I have posted it in the Discord now, so the screenshots are there. But basically, like I said yesterday, you can buy Virgin points, but they're doing a deal. So it's different to Avios, right? They're doing a deal right now. Virgin's doing a deal where you can get up to 70% bonus points. So, for instance, if you were to buy between 125,000 and 200,000 points, you would get 70% of those points in addition. And then obviously you can use those points to then buy flights. You would only have to pay the tax part of the flight, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a huge discount. Obviously, depending on where you're going and when you're going, but it's a huge discount. So yeah, man, if you're interested, go to the Discord. You see all the information there. You just have to buy them between the 28th of June and the 7th of July, and then you'll get up to 70% bonus points. You can also buy the points between the 8th of July and the 4th of August, but you earn up to 60% bonus points. It's still a good deal as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the People's Journal, guys.
Oh, I guess that's it for the rest of the show, man. Let's get into our outro. I got to go educate myself. Gotta go learn.
Let me just press outro. All right, so I apologize. This is me, right?
Yeah.
As in for the Wonky show. You
Okay.
understand? Because the people expected something, but they will get it tomorrow. So you're gonna watch this, and you're going in with an open mind. But are you? Or are you going in wanting to be proven right? Because you've taken a stance already.
I'm Team Terrence Howard
Why are you Terrence Howard?
because I like people that go against the establishment and question the questions. You know what I'm trying to say? You might actually learn something from looking at things from a different point of view, innit? So I'm
Sorry, people. My mind's already gone.
yeah, so I'm going into this with soft eyes. I'm not looking to. I don't need anything debunked and stuff. I just want to see the conversation and just see how it goes, to see what I can take from it, to see if you can make sense of the nonsense, to see if there's anything in what's being said.
Why don't you want anything debunked?
I'm saying like I'm not like E-Man's gonna watch it from a place of he's gonna want to sit there and he just wants him to be shut down and just wants him to be debunked so he can buzz off it and get excited.
Yeah.
I don't mind if things get debunked. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, because
Yeah.
obviously we got to live in truth, innit? But what I'm trying to say is that's not my goal. That's not what I'm going there for. I'm not going there to watch him to be shut down, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And you're right. We have to live in truth, and I guess that's where Emmanuel's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And I could understand his irritants at hearing things like 1 × 1 equals 2 or 3, right? But in that same like reasoning, he gives Kanye West grace, or gives Candice Owens grace. If he hears them say wild stuff, he doesn't cancel all of them, all of their particular thoughts.
Because he likes some of their thoughts in it, and people pour into what serves them in the sense of they will make excuses for people that they like, and he likes Candice, he likes Kanye.
I want you to make the argument of my compromised state based on what you've seen already, because you've seen a full array of Brent on different topics, conspiratorial. You've seen that, right? So, and you've heard me saying, I'm already compromised, right?
Yeah.
So with this conversation, make an argument to my bias.
For it.
No, to me being compromised and me not being able to be trusted with my take on it.
Because you're a conspiracy theory man anyway, yeah, this is speaking to you in a language that not everybody understands. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That so this kind of stuff is singing to you, like, and it's exciting you, innit? So you might not be prepared to step back and look at it. What's the word?
Objectively. But
Objectively.
what part of what he's saying is a conspiracy?
Well,
Because this
everything's-
isn't
everything-
like
it's
aliens.
not, it's not just but he's mixed up. He's mixed up everything because he went to talk to. He went to space. He went to God and realms and ayahuasca stuff.
Who?
Terrence
Oh, you mean from the first?
from the first
I'm
one.
not
Even
sure.
though
Did he mention ayahuasca?
He didn't
the
mention
first time?
ayahuasca, but when he started talking about the dreams and the things and the man talking to him and you subconsciously made that connection with the ayahuasca journey that people go on and the enlightenment and the different states and the different realms. You probably subconsciously made that connection in it. So what I'm trying to say is he's speaking to you. Well, you're saying you didn't, but it was subconsciously.
Stop. No, I'm honest here, right?
You know, he's speaking to you on so many
I don't
different
even
levels.
know if he's taking stuff. I assume he's taking drugs and stuff because he's an actor.
No, not even that he's taking it. But what I'm trying to say is, them stories initially, where he said the stories that you probably made the connection because you've heard other people make them stories when they've took the stuff and they've gone and they've met people in different rooms
Stop.
and different
No,
beings.
no. I hear that's separate from that. Can you remember me saying that my theory about angels giving man knowledge that they weren't supposed to have?
No, I remember you.
So I'm a born again Christian.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, it speaks about angels, fallen angels, basically talking to man. I mean, it even speaks about the devil telling Eve to go and eat the apple. And in the Bible, it also said that there's a tree of good and evil. Some say it's the tree of knowledge, right? So once it is that you let sin in, like you're looking to basically open up a whole raft of this and this. But I've been on this podcast saying that angels have taught man how to read the stars, how to do alchemy, how to use makeup, how to use herbs for magic. I've said that because it's in the book of Enoch, right? And this book exists. Emmanuel has acknowledged the book, right? So this thing where he says an angel gave him this information, all I hear is, yeah, a demon probably gave you this information. When I say demon, as a fallen angel. Do you understand? I'm not seeing it as weird as he's taken ayahuasca or hallucinogenics. And I also do believe that is the spiritual realm. Once you take that, you do see entities in this text.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is not that you believe that he takes them, but it speaks to you because it's just like you can understand it because you're aware of it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so the connection, the jump that you have to get on to understand and absorb what he's saying, it's not far. It's not a big step for you. They're not too far removed. So it's not saying that you're saying he's taking ayahuasca or nothing like that, but the experiences that he's speaking to, you can relate to because it's stuff that you've delved into. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So your mind's already open on that spectrum.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, the angels teaching, going to different levels, and how you attain that level of whatever, that's on you. He might not need the ayahuasca for it. It just might be totally divine for him. But I'm saying it speaks to you. So he's speaking to you on so many different levels. You get what I'm trying to say? Plus you have a thirst for knowledge. You're always open to learning things and stuff like that. So it's all new. So there's the spiritual side, there's the psychedelic side, there's the unknown side, there's the science side. He done a lot of space and stuff. So you like space, you introduce it with aliens and stuff like that. So this concoction of human, is speaking to you on a level that a lot of people can't even really speak to you on. So that is why you're so compromised, because you was dying for this. You needed a Terrence Howard. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like someone else.
Are you still making an argument?
I'm telling you.
I'm not going to contest anything you're saying until you finish. So.
Well, you needed a Terrence Howard to coexist with you. So you know that you're not alone, if that makes sense.
No.
Spider-Man.
No, not at all.
Spider-Man.
No,
Someone that's on the same plane with you. You know what? My train of thinking, there's other people that's on my level. You know what I'm trying to say?
I heard about angels and demons in a conscious manner just before, right? I understood it a bit differently. It's one thing to basically have the Bible talk about principalities and powers, and it's the next thing to see it in your real life, right? And that was before I turned 16, right? Now I'm from Trinidad, and evil and wicked practices it's commonplace there. When I came to this country, it's now a different sheen. It's like it's polished, and you're not seeing it as insidious as back home, right? It has a different packaging. But I, quote unquote, was already compromised to believe that there were spiritual things outside of human perception. Do you understand? So coming from that baseline, all of this is minor.
To you.
This whole math and science, that's minor to me. And different ways to basically innovate and invent, that's minor to me. You have, in science, you have certain institutions who they will find things and they will use the tools that they currently have in order to make sense of what they've found. What can this thing do? What can this metal do? But when they've tried all of the knowledge that they have at that particular age and nothing happens, they store it. They come back in 10, 20 years where advancements have changed. They take it back out and they see, all right, what can we do with this now? And from that, new invention is made, right? And that has happened over like a millennia, right? But that still doesn't touch the whole, the angels and demons. Doesn't touch it.
So you're saying the concepts that he's going to are like minor for you to get your head around. Is there anything that he said that's major for you? Or is it all
when I
a
say
walk in the
minor
park?
in relation to spirituality?
Spirituality,
For me, spirituality
and thoughts that
is
you've...
the biggest thing that affects.
And this is what I'm trying to say. So you're aligned, innit? Is there anything that he said that is miles removed from your train of thought or thinking that is wild?
I didn't understand like probably 95% of the things they were saying because I don't study this. I don't study it. But what I can appreciate is stop talking about theory, because theory is just you just gisting. It's just gisting. Let me see what this theory turns into. And if you can now show that whatever you're talking about, I could care less what you're talking about because I don't understand it anyway. But if you can show me something, cool. And he was doing that. So in my mind, any inventor, any scientist, they care about actions, things that they can action. Because it's one thing theorizing, it's the next thing, how does it apply to life? Because we would want to now build something and explore or do or find certain ways to basically do the same thing better. Do you understand? Or else what are you in it for? Just to talk?
I know.
So if you are now seeing, quote unquote, a madman show you something that your math, your science has never formulated tangibly before, I would be interested in that.
All right, and just the last thing, yeah. Them, because I'm sure, I swear I said it before and I weren't sure whether we got it right, yeah. You see like them shapes that he's got?
Which ones?
The ones that...
all the regular shapes.
The super symmetrical shapes. The ones that fit perfectly within themselves.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Yeah.
Are they... What do they represent? Because obviously you've watched.
Yeah, but I told you I don't understand 95% of that. Because in the end of this conversation, I would still want to know what's the practical application of what you're doing.
You see, when you go into science rooms and you got them atoms and stuff like that, and you got like the red ball and then the line links it and they all linked up. What are them things called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What, DNA?
The DNA stuff. Well, the DNA is the helix thing structure. But is that what it is? DNA? Is it atoms and stuff like that? You know, like the models of it?
I don't know what...
How can I?
What you just asked,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different to what you first asked about the shapes that he was putting together.
I'm saying, is that his version of them shapes that he's putting together? Is that his version of the DNA structure and the molecules and atoms and stuff like that?
I don't know. He mentioned electricity and magnetism. He said that that is everything. I told you, this is not my expertise.
Yeah, I know, but that's just one thing that I just want to clear up because, like I said, I don't know what it's called. Do you know? But you know what I'm talking about, innit?
Yeah. But there were two things that look symmetrical to me. Remember, all the things that I saw there, it looked pretty enough to be symmetrical. Everything looked symmetrical.
I just wanted to know if them shapes and them symmetry things are his versions of the atoms. What he's saying. That's why, so they don't look like what you think they look like. They look and work like this.
I think what you're suggesting is this model that everybody sees as atoms and molecules, and this is how they're connecting this and that.
Yes.
He's just saying that no, let me reinvent all this. That's why you're suggesting that he has all this pushback because there's life and then there's Terrence saying
is that because that's what he's doing? He's saying like that all the molecules connect and them shapes, them old school shapes doesn't equate for the negative space and whatnot, but with his way, everything connects and everything resonates.
You let me know what it was because I don't know. I wasn't focusing on that, and I don't know if it is that he was saying let's reinvent life.
No, because I'm still trying to understand. Because obviously, you can, like I'm saying, you still have all them shapes and and they fit together and they look great in the symmetry. That's great. I'm still trying to understand what these shapes are. What you're saying these shapes are.
Was it connected to?
Just what it? Okay, cool. You've made these new shapes. I'm trying to understand. What are you saying this is? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I like I said, I think there were different models for different things. It wasn't just what you were suggesting. And I don't know if he was saying this is the DNA strand and at the very molecular level, these are how it connects and this is how we'll do this. Because he also mentioned the periodic table.
Okay.
The periodic table have different applications for different things. So I don't know if it's just that. That model that you're talking about, I don't think it's just that.
Okay.
Because he also talked about light. And he talked about, like I said, electricity and magnetism when it comes to gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So watch it and then.
So would I get the answer if I watch it?
I don't know because I didn't go in for that. So and even you asking now, I can't just point to it because I didn't extract that answer from me watching it.
Because it would help when he's throwing around all these shapes and all these things and saying things. It would kind of help if we properly understand what they represent. Like that would help a lot.
I for you, I guess.
So not for you.
No, in my head, the different models that he's shown. The last model was the drone, right?
Okay, yeah, and so I can get that one.
And he's there suggesting if Elon Musk used this particular technology, he can solve the thing that he has a problem with in space.
In space. Okay,
right?
cool.
So that has direct application.
That one's easy because you're talking about it's direct application. It's a model. It's the flight and whatnot. Like he's shown us how that works, so we understand what you're doing. When he's got them little helixes and he puts them together, we understand what the end goal is and what that's. So that's kind of separate. That's cool. I'm just talking about when he's got the shapes. He's like, you take one shape and then you take two of them, and you can take three of them, you can take four of them, and they all symmetrical. And they all account for the spaces and for the gaps, and they all finger. I'm trying to understand what's the outcome here? What did you prove? What do these represent? And I think it's important so we know, just so we know what he's talking about.
Yeah, fair. And I believe if that was puzzling to scientists like Eric,
Yeah,
he would just focus on what is that, like what does it do.
so he's accepting the shapes and stuff like that.
I don't want to oversimplify this because, like I said, you're fixating on one particular thing, and I don't think that was what the bulk of Terrence is. Do you understand?
No, but we just want to just.
No, I hear your question, but I do believe after watching it, I don't know if that's the only thing you would worry about. I know you're not going in to find out what is this, and I'm saying it's several things and not just one thing that you saw.
Okay.
So you might have your questions, you might not have, but I don't think you're gonna come away with it feeling empty because That's what you thought everything was just focused on going in.
Well, I'm gonna go and watch it. 4 hours.
It won't be 4 hours. You can listen to it on 1.75.
I'm not gonna listen to it on 1.75.
All right.
I'm gonna listen to it in normal time. I need to receive
Try
the information.
1.25 and see if it is that you can still retain it.
When people are talking fast, yeah,
It's not fast.
about
It's fast.
things I don't understand, yeah, it is not going to help. I'd rather slow it down so I can receive this information properly and go through the words and put them together so that I know what they mean and what they're trying to say. Not here.
And that's what I'm saying. If it's like that, it's unperceivable and you cannot follow. So just try 1.25. If you can still follow, try 1.5. If you can still follow, then try 1.75. I'm not asking you to basically kill yourself, sir. Just test it and see if it changes the entire world. Because I'm even looking to try and cut down the 4 hours for you. You know, because time is valuable. It's
This
precious.
is true. All right then, Terrence Howard. I wonder how many of you are gonna watch it. Are we gonna is Iman gonna watch it today? You reckon?
I could care less.
No,
Mama-
but obviously because we want to get into it.
No. When I say I could care less, I believe that at some point he will, and it will grind his gears if you now watch it and you come on, you say, "Hey, I'm a terrorist acolyte." It will piss him off, and then he will have to watch it just to come and debunk you. Do you understand? That's his MO, man.
I love going against the grain, man. There's a part of me that just wants to be a Terrence acolyte anyway. Just
And
Just to piss
the
people
weird
off.
thing,
Just
the
to
weird
piss
thing,
people off.
Marks, is I think going more listening to what's that next guy that came on, Billy Carson.
okay.
He's more out there than Terrence.
He's the Anunnaki.
Anunnaki, Emerald tablets, this, that, and the next. And I heard about Emerald tablets from Cat Williams.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know about the Emerald tablets before. And once I heard, I'm like, let me go on deep dive now. And then I found out this guy's been talking about it. And I was like, I need for this to make sense because it needs to, I need to basically weigh it up with where I stand in Christ. And
I'd rather listen to Terrence Howard than listen to Anunnaki stuff, to be totally honest with you.
yes, like I said, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just the Anunnaki thing is too much for me. Like that train of thought. It's like what you're saying. You're way more out there than Terrence.
Who?
Anybody that I'm saying, the Anunnaki man,
Yeah.
them, their train of thoughts is way more out there than
100%, because
anything
Terrence
is
is saying, I'm building models for today. I'm going to use it in today so we can have a better tomorrow. And the Anunnaki is historical. When someone's complete just myth, you understand? You're dealing with things that you can't really verify.
Yeah.
And with this, you can because, all right, you've done this. Show me how you did it. And somebody was there talking about the models could be made, but the math is wrong. I don't know what that means. I think it was Ed that said that, yes, the models might be there, but the math is wrong. Hello?
Who's that, Ramsey?
Hello?
Ramsey, you know Terrence Howard likes Kendrick, innit?
Call back Ramsey. Wait, does he not know that we're finished? At this point, wait, it's just did. I forgot that there was even an audience. Yes, Sam. Where was I? What did I say? What did I say before?
Anunnaki.
And Terrence Howard in the here and now. Models.
Models.
Ed was saying, yes, you showed me the model, but if the math is wrong, what does a model mean? And I don't know what that means. Because if you have an outcome, right? And then you ask the man, how did you do that? And then he shows you how he's done that. Whoever could understand the mathematical journey could ascribe.
Because you could just work backwards.
Yeah. And there's nothing working backwards. This means this. All right, cool. I didn't know that. I just did this. Do you understand? A man is just saying he did this. And I do believe that he uses math. because based on how the conversation, you can see he understands, not in the manner which Eric does. Eric is far surpassed him in that particular field because he was born in this. His brain was for this.
So he's
Terrence had to
molded by
learn
it.
this. He had to learn how to
So
speak
raised
that way.
by it.
And that's why he was like, me learning this, it's limiting me. So let me do something different. And for me, that's innovation. Because at one point in time, you didn't have the language of math in the manner in which you do now to explain things. You just did, right? And then you slapped a formula or a language onto it, right? Because even English language, math, is different to Chinese, to Hindu, and the ancients. Do you understand? Yes, when some people who believe in aliens, everything is connected, but how they communicate, how to do such and such, completely alien to us, right? Surely you could understand that. So someone who is talking different languages, Terrence might be talking flipping different language. Suppose he's a mute. Suppose he's a mute. What then?
You believe in aliens?
Not in the manner in which it is that some people do. Ramsey, how are you?
Living it up versus living real, debunking the myths of modern success as seen on social media.
Yeah, that was what we were going to talk about.
We're still on Terrence Howard.
We're not. We're finished. The show's finished.
Terrence likes Kendrick, you know.
Okay.
No, does that count for anything?
Not when one plus one or one times one is two.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show.
Sometimes you
You know
gotta
what I'm saying?
I like how you stopped yourself there. I like how you stopped yourself there.
Shut up. I'm actually really interested in the main topic though, not the Terrence Howard stuff.
Yeah.
So why don't you watch? You should watch the Terrence Howard interview. And then get involved in the main topic.
No, because I think you know I'm not gonna waste 4 hours of my life watching that shit.
It's crazy, man. Everyone's afraid to learn.
Whatever you want to bring to us.
I actually went in like hoping that Eric would dispel him, if only to basically have him humbled, like incredibly, Terrence, but he wasn't. And Eric basically said, "Yeah, you're a brilliant man, but you're also stupid because your ego."
They're persisting with this nonsense.
Yeah, talking like this, because you're not going to get anywhere in this particular field that you want accreditation from, because this is how we talk. This is how we talk.
All right, I gotta go. Well.
Later, Ramsey.
Oh, easy.
See you tomorrow, guys. Peace out. Thanks for taking part. Obviously, you know Wednesdays are weird science shows anyway.
To be honest, we've walked right into that. I was screaming that it wasn't, and it was in my fault. Look at this.
Wednesdays are weird science, guys, but we'll be here tomorrow, man, for a proper show.
Sorry, Brent. I explained later. It's like making a cake without egg and flour, but then can't fully explain what you used instead. So Eric can see it, but if it can't be replicated, it's pointless. No, that wasn't what because he didn't ask Terrence, how did you do it? Because Terrence would have shown him. So that wasn't the cake. The analogy you're using isn't parallel. It's not accurate.
This is tough. I'm gonna go home and watch it. I wanna watch it. I'm actually gonna go home, make something to eat, and just put it on. That's the plan. That is the plan. All right,
And
guys.
I'm excited for tomorrow, because tomorrow you'll be
Enlightened.
yes, as in you'll have watched it, not that you will see the light. Because I actually want to know what you say. I want to know if I am just completely biased and I saw what I wanted to see, I heard what I wanted to hear. Do you understand? I really, because I've even been looking at comments to see if is this what I really saw?
So are the comments? Any in the comments agreeing with you?
A lot of the comments are saying, I love how patient Eric was. He was very patient. And especially, you can tell that he's not a guy to lower himself like this to do this, right? And it also begs the question, then why did you do it? And again, it's because, you can see that innovations here. There are thinkers like you that exist. I have a best friend like that. You even mentioned his periodic table. Here's an example. As he brought examples, he brought models to show such and such. And it was a beautiful conversation. And I'm thinking, I want more of this. Eric, he loaded up Joe to say, none of mainstream media or science is more powerful than this table right here, because we stifle innovation. And this table here, you facilitated this, and you're going on to millions. This is what it's supposed to be like. Do you understand? And that in itself, 100%. That's the power of change that he's saying, this is real, because there are lies over there. I come from lies. This is unvarnished truth. And that's why he said, that's when he plugged the Fauci stuff. That's when he teed it up.
I'm going to message Terrence, and I'm going to let him know.
There's a friend here.
There's a platform here for you.
100%.
You get me? TD?
100%.
No behavior. Anyone you want.
And we'll give him the time.
We'll give you
Whole
the time.
10 hours. Bring the models. But the dumb questions will be asked to him. So he can then say, well, this is how I did it. And, sorry, you want the formulas? Yeah, here's the formula. Because I have to replicate this. I've done this.
I got to message Terrence. I got to get him on there, man. I'm going to chew E-Man up.
But you said one time what he goes. He said, why are we still here? But you said one time what he goes. But here, look. But you said one time what he goes this. All right, let's talk about this.
That'd be hilarious. Folks, peace out, man. We see you tomorrow.
Later.
I'm not going to start watching it from on the way home.
Good,
I don't think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to put it in the whip.
All right, there.